All right, golfers, have a fantastic disassociation workout. This is level 1, so it's the basics, our foundations for being able to separate your upper and lower halves. So really, really key for golfers to be able to do that. It's going to be a fairly quick workout. All you need is some floor space. You're going to need a chair, a foam roller, some wall space, and a club. So get that stuff ready. We'll get into it right on the floor here. Our first exercise is going to be a hip crossover. So here we're disassociating the lower half from the upper half. So it's all about keeping the upper body stable. I'm going to press my hands, back of the forearms into the floor, press my knees together. So I'm pressing those arms into the floor so that my upper body stays stable, and I rotate the hips and pelvis, keeping the knees pressed together over to the side till you feel a stretch, and then I go over to the other side. So this part of the hip lifts off. Only go as far as you can without the shoulder blades sliding up. So and the forearm should not move. So my upper body does not move at all. So here, we're disassociating the lower body from a stable upper body. So I'm learning to rotate those, the pelvis and hips and get those moving separate of the upper body. Nice and smooth. We're doing 8 of these on each side. Again, really keep those knees pressed together. You'll probably notice that they'll want to wander. The lower you want to get to the floor, these legs might want to separate. That's your way of compensating or cheating. Don't do that. Every once in a while, check and make sure that those knees are pressed together. That's also going to help you engage your core muscles a little more the more you press those thighs together. Inhale, exhale. We're still breathing here. Keeping those arms pressed into the floor. Again, we're stable in that upper half. Your head should not be sliding down the floor here, or your shoulder blades should not move at all. That's really, really key, because as golfers, we want to be able to get the lower body moving separate of the upper body, especially in the downswing. 1 more on each side. And then we're going to disassociate the upper from the lower. So now we're going to extend the legs, and we're going to work on our starfish, rolling starfish here. So the starfish position is like this. I keep my arms in the same position, extend the legs, and now I'm going to press the back of the legs and heels and calves into the floor. So they're pushing into the floor pretty hard. I bring my arm up to the sky. I'm going to reach up. As I do that, the head comes off the floor. And then I'm going to reach across towards this other hand. Okay, keep the lower body pressing into the floor. My butt cheek is just starting to lift off the floor now as I try and get past this hand, and then I come down. So as you can see here, we'll alternate. As we go side to side, my upper body is disassociating from the lower half. So this is just like your golf swing. In the backswing, the lead arm comes across, and you're rotating, and then back down. Make sure as you come back down, try and keep this butt cheek on the floor for as long as you can. It just starts to come off the floor a little bit, but have a look at my toes here. They're not rolling, and I'm not letting my upper body go passive. We're pushing it into the floor to come back down. So again, feel if I reach up with this arm, that the leg on the same side, my left foot here, I'm pushing it down into the floor and away from me to come back down. Again, we're doing 8 of these on each side. Inhale, love the stretch we get down here through the upper body and the lats. And if you find that this motion isn't easy and you find it to be a stretch and a struggle for your top hand to get past your bottom hand, it's definitely a sign that you need to work on this, and your disassociation can really improve. So it's a huge area for growth if we can get this top hand past the bottom hand, keeping the legs pretty stable, okay? That's a good sign. If that's challenging for you, then we need to keep working on this to improve that disassociation. Again, we're not sliding up or down the floor, staying in the same spot if we can. Keeping the legs pushed into the floor. Getting that upper body moving separate of the lower body. 1 more. Each side. Reach up, stretch across, come back down, and the other side. Reach up, stretch, come back down. So that's kind of our warm-up. That gets us moving the upper and lower body separate of each other. Now we're going to transition up to a standing position. So now that we're up to a standing position, you're going to need a foam roller, some wall space, have a chair. You could even use a desk or a countertop nearby. Anything that's a stable surface, that's totally fine. Coming up to the wall here, we're going to put the roller against the wall at hip height, and you're going to just inch yourself towards the roller and get in your golf posture. So we're just having yourself in place there with the hip against the roller, arms across the chest. So we're in our golf posture. We're going to work at rotating the chest away from the roller without the hips moving. So if my pelvis moves, I'm going to lose that connection between the roller and the wall. So we do not want that to happen. So just a light touch here with the hip and the foam roller. So you don't want to be too close so that it's pressing into you. You just want to feel that your hips touching it, lightly holding it in place. So that if you move the hips much, then the roller is going to fall out. That's going to give you the feedback that you want. Maintain your posture here, and we're just going to rotate that chest away from the wall and then back to center. So we're again turning the shoulder maybe down towards the floor a little bit, feeling like you're turning your middle back towards the post or the wall here and keeping your head nice and steady. So I keep my head steady and I'm rotating that trunk without moving the pelvis. You can see here my hips are staying really square. I'm not moving a lot. I'm rotating that trunk. So we're doing 8 of these on each side. So this is trunk disassociation with the roller. We're in our golf posture. That's it. Turn. You're going to feel this probably in the mid to upper back. Okay, those muscles being able to separate that upper half without moving the lower half. You might even feel that your feet are having to work pretty hard to keep that lower body stable. That's a good thing. We'll turn it around here. And again, just touching the hip, holding the roller in place lightly. And then we're just going to work at keeping that lower half stable. And I'm turning my mid to upper back towards the wall or the post, getting the shoulder to turn down towards the floor as I turn the upper body away from the roller without moving the hips, keeping it in place. Nice and smooth. Exhale maybe as you turn. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, turn. Inhale down. Exhale. Inhale. There we go. One more time. So just working on these drills on a regular basis is really going to help you learn to separate that upper and lower half. Okay, so now we come to this exercise here. Depending on which you find more difficult, whether it's disassociating your upper from your lower or vice versa, the lower from the upper, you'll want to work on that part of it a little more often. So if you find that disassociating your hips from your upper body is more challenging, you can do an extra set. Okay, from here, use that stable surface. Again, countertop's fine. I'm using the back of a chair here. Push your arms into it. I'm in my golf posture here, but I'm just pressing into here to keep my upper body stable. So we don't want any movement from essentially the waist up, or belly button up. And all I'm going to do is try and rotate my hips nice and smooth. It's a small movement, okay? I'm not trying to make a big turn like this. The feet should both stay on the floor. Start small and just get that smooth rotation of the pelvis, okay? Think about this hip pulling back as the other one comes forward, and then vice versa, this hip pulls back as the other one comes forward. You can see the knees will move a little bit here. Both feet are staying flat on the floor, and we're just trying to get a smooth disassociation. So this is hip disassociation, doing 8 on each side. Again, just trying to get the movement smooth. We're not trying to do it fast. We're not trying to make it big. I just want you to have control so that your upper body, you shouldn't see any bending in the elbows here or movement in the shoulders. We want that to stay really still and control that motion from the pelvis. And again, the hips should not move side to side here at all. It's not a lateral movement. You'll want to watch for that. The tendency might be to have this hip go side to side. Rather than that, we want the hips to go forward and back a little bit so your butt's moving back behind you, back and forth, just like that. Okay, so this, we're building up, giving myself a little bit of stability here, just like I had stability with my lower body and the foam roller in the last drill. Now we're going to graduate to less stability. We're going to take a club and we're going to work on, this is trunk rotation with the club. We're doing a split grip on the club. All right, so I've got one hand on the club here, one hand here. And we're going to get in your golf posture, okay? And that split grip. So normally my right hand's over, left hand under, or sorry, my lead hand is over top, trail hand's underneath. Same style grip, I'm just taking it like this in a split fashion. And from here, keep that lower body stable and just try and pull. I'm using this hand to assist me into the trunk rotation and feel like I'm really keeping that lower body pushed into the ground as I rotate and pull that upper body. I'm assisting myself with this trail hand pulling me up into that rotation, and you can see here my lead shoulders turning down at the floor. So that we're going to do 8 nice smooth turns here. Pull with that trail hand. Keep the legs really stable so I'm not collapsing a lot in the lower body and the hips. Make a turn, come down. Make a turn, hold. Feel that big turn in the trunk. So now we have less stability and you're having to use the muscles in your legs a bit. Push into the ground and turn the trunk. Maybe feel that heel pressing into the ground a little bit as that club comes up. Keep that lower body pretty stable, really trying to rotate that trunk as much as possible. Again, assist by pulling with this hand. Just doing the dominant side here into your backswing, like that. One more time. There we go. So now we're going to go club across the chest, and we're going to disassociate the lower half. So I'm going to go from here, and we're going to try and rotate into the follow through. So from here, I'm just turning my belt buckle towards the target. This hip is going to push back behind me as my trail leg rolls towards the target. Think about your knee kind of rolling in towards the target, and you can see that club is staying really stable. I'm not having any upper body rotation. So we disassociate the lower from the upper, rotate, keep the club still. Just try and get that rotation. Hold it for a second. Feel like the hips are, belly button are opening to the target. Without the trail heel, so without this back heel, I'm not lifting it up. It's not this kind of motion. I'm rolling this inwards towards the target, keeping the upper body stable, just like that. Again, 8 to 10 times till you feel like you got the pattern. We're just trying to establish a pattern here and make it smooth. We're not trying to go fast. We're just trying to get the pattern. You can see how my upper body is staying really stable. So again, these exercises have progressed from easier to more challenging, less stability as we go on from beginning to end. So those sequence of exercises are really going to help you disassociate the upper from the lower half. Hope you found that helpful. See you guys in the next workout.